Hello, everyone. I'm David, and welcome back to Set Sail with Grace Harbor. Now, last time we explored the intense personal and national allegories in Ezekiel chapter 23 and 24. We saw God's judgment on Israel and Judah, and we witnessed the heartbreaking personal loss that Ezekiel suffered. Today, we're shifting our focus. This section of prophecy, well, it's against foreign nations. Now, some of you might be tempted to think, oh, good, it's not about me. But I promise, the primary message here is incredibly relevant. It is a powerful statement about God's sovereignty and the destructive nature of human pride. The overarching theme of these chapters is this: the God of Israel is not just a tribal deity. He's the one true God who reigns over the entire world, and he holds every nation accountable for their own actions. This was a critical message for the exiled Israelites. They saw their own nation destroyed, and it would be easy to think that their God was a weak God or had been defeated by the other nations' gods. But Ezekiel's prophecies against these surrounding nations show that God's plan is much bigger than just Israel. He's the ultimate judge of all. So let's break it down, starting with chapter 25. Now, this chapter, it focuses on Israel's immediate enemies, Ammon, Moab, Edom, and Philistia. The common thread in all of these prophecies is the reaction that each had to Israel's downfall. They didn't just stand by, they rejoiced and they gloated over Israel's suffering. The Ammonites clapped their hands and stomped their feet with malicious joy, kind of like you see in a football stadium. The Moabites scornfully said that Judah was no different than any other nation. And the Edomites, well, they took revenge for old grudges that they had. And the Philistines, it was just a deep, ancient hostility going all the way back to the times of David. God's message is clear: because you delighted in the misfortune of my people, you'll face judgment. He's essentially saying, yeah, you thought you had a leg up because you weren't my people, but you showed your true colors by mocking them. Now you'll see that I am the Lord, and that my justice is not just for Israel, but for everyone. Now, this is the first main point we run into. God's justice is not limited to geography or by relationship. He sees every act of malice and every ounce of pride, and he will hold all nations and peoples accountable for their action. Now we come to chapter 26, which is an extended prophecy against the powerful city of Tyre. Tyre was a major coastal city and the hub of international trade. It was known for its wealth, its impregnable fortifications, and its arrogance. That was Tyre's special sin. The text tells us that because Tyre said concerning Jerusalem, the gateway of the peoples is broken. I shall be filled, and she shall be laid waste. Tyre saw Jerusalem's destruction not as a tragedy, but as a business opportunity. With their rival gone, Tyre believed its own power and wealth would increase. God's response is a stunning prophecy of its utter destruction. He says he will bring many nations against it, just as the sea brings up its waves. This is a perfect metaphor for Tyre, a city of the sea that would be repeatedly conquered by different empires. He foretells that the city walls will be torn down, its towers demolished, and the very dust scraped away, leaving it bare rock, where the fishermen will spread their nets. This prophecy is so specific and dramatic that skeptics for centuries have claimed, well, it wasn't literally fulfilled. But history confirms it. While Nebuchadnezzar's Babylonians began the siege, it was Alexander the Great who centuries later literally scraped the mainland city off into the sea to build causeways to the island fortress, literally fulfilling this prophecy. The main point of Ezekiel 26 is the powerful, timeless warning against pride. Tyre's wealth and security led to hubris that made them gloat over the fall of God's people. This chapter demonstrates that human might, no matter how great, is no match for God's divine purpose. Finally, we move to chapter 27, which is a lament and a funeral dirge for Tyre. This chapter describes Tyre as a magnificent ship, perfect in beauty, built of the finest materials and crewed by the most skilled men from all over the known world. It's a poem that details every aspect of Tyre's immense commercial network, from its sailors to its extensive list of trading partners. The purpose of this beautiful lament is to emphasize the scale of what was about to be lost. By describing the nation's trade with Tyre from Tarshish to Persia, Ezekiel is showing just how far-reaching and intertwined Tyre's influence was. But the lament ends with this mighty ship, this city-state, being wrecked in the heart of the seas. Its vast wealth, its skilled sailors, all of its merchandise will sink with it. The nations that once traded with it are described as mourning in fear and horror, realizing that if the great city of Tyre could fall, none of them were truly safe. The primary message in Ezekiel 27 is that worldly power and wealth, no matter how great, is ultimately an illusion. All human glory is fleeting. Tyre's pride and its wealth and its power, well, it's its ultimate downfall. It placed its trust in its own strength and its commercial empire, not in God. So when we look at these three chapters together, we get a complete picture. God is sovereign over all nations. He holds them accountable, not just for their sins, but for their pride, and he'll demonstrate that all human glory and worldly power are temporary and will eventually fail. It's a necessary reminder that the only foundation that will not fail is our trust in the one true God. Thanks for joining me today for this look into Ezekiel. If it was meaningful to you, please like and subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a comment below, I'd sure love to hear from you. May God truly bless you today.